Good morning. Just cleaning out my inbox while I wait for you guys to come on. Make sure you say hello when you come on so I know who I've got. Okay, let's get moving. Okay, this morning what I want to talk to you about is how to feel unsuccessful in business. There is one particular thing that you can do that is absolutely going to make you feel like you're doing it all for nothing, and that is not paying yourself. I know I've had this conversation with you before on Facebook Live, but it's just worth reiterating as the new year is here. And hey ladies, and I've had this conversation with a couple of people recently, in my groups, particularly when I spoke about the fact that while I was in Thailand, I gave myself a fairly hefty pay rise. And it feels good, you know, it feels good to know that my business can support me and actually give me the lifestyle that, you know, that's what this whole thing is about. So if you're not paying yourself, there's one lady in particular and she said, oh, thanks for the reminder. I haven't paid myself since last year. I've just been forgetting to do it. Hey, Belinda. And I was horrified. I'm thinking, you were already doing this at one point and then you stopped doing it. Why would you stop doing it? So for me, my wages are non-negotiable. Every single Thursday afternoon is when I pay myself. Every Thursday afternoon, I go in, I pay myself. It's the same every single week. There is no negotiation around that. And when I give myself a pay rise, I stick to it. Everything else expands to meet that. So as I say, I gave myself a fairly hefty one, and that just means that I need to work, you know, a little bit smarter or a little bit harder this month to make sure that I can expand into that. And already that's happening. So if you're not paying yourself a wage and you're not being serious about that, then it's time to really have a look at things, because what can happen if you're not paying yourself is you kind of wonder, what the hell is it all worth? I remember in the early days when I was working my ass off and I wasn't paying myself, and it was kind of like, what is the freaking point here? You know, I'm paying everybody else and making sure they get paid. And so I'm the first person I pay every single week. No one's working harder than me in my business. No one's taking the risks that I'm taking. Nobody's taking care of my clients the way that I'm taking care of my clients. So I pay myself first. That's just the way that I go about things, because I think it's what I deserve. You know, I think I deserve to pay myself first. Hey Louise, so if you're not, it's time to start. And you know, if your business isn't bringing in a whole lot of money right now, just what can you commit to, and then go a little bit higher than that, because I promise you, the more you commit to giving yourself and the more excited you get for payday week in, week out, you'll just make it happen. You'll make sure that you expand into that space and just make sure that you pay yourself and make it a priority, make it a non-negotiable. And before you know it, this will become a new habit that's ingrained. It's just innately what you do week in, week out. And there is never a good time to start. I remember feeling, you know, in the early days, I can remember thinking, you know, I'll start next week, or I'll start next month, or I just need to clear these bills and then I'll get started. There is never ever a good time to start. So just start. As I say, commit to an amount that is what feels comfortable, and then like add another 10 or 20% to that and stretch yourself a little bit, and then just commit to it, and do not wiggle on it. You know, just make sure that you do it. There have been times, you know, in the early part of last year when I would have to take money out of my GST account to pay myself, because that was the priority, and the GST was always there by the time I needed to pay it. So I would even do that. I would even say, well, this is more important. You know, I wouldn't, if I was paying somebody else, that's exactly what I would do to make sure that the wage was there this week. And that's just what I did. And so, yeah, just do it. Start paying yourself. Make it a habit this year. And, you know, however many weeks we've got left in the year, what, 48 or something like that, 49 or something, make it a commitment to just pay yourself every single week. Or if, you know, if your funds come in monthly or fortnightly, do it that way. For me, I like to pay myself every week. And there is nothing like knowing that you're able to do that and you can rely on it, because that was the other thing in the early days. you know, people used to talk about budgets and putting this much away to be able to, you know, save for whatever. And I always felt like, oh, I can't budget for that because I never know what's coming in. Well, now it's predictable and it's reliable because it's non-negotiable. So every week it's the exact amount that comes in, and I know exactly how much that is, and I can budget for that week in, week out. And I feel, you know, it makes me feel successful to see the amount that I can put into my account every week as a wage and know, hey, Justine, and also know that, you know, my business is still ticking along beautifully. There's plenty of money there for all the other bills and my taxes and everything else. And it feels, I feel much more in control than I ever had around my finances. And as I say, there is never a good time to start, especially if things feel a little bit tight and it's a little bit up and down. The way that you make it consistent is to demand it. And the way that you demand that is to start paying yourself week in, week out, without any negotiation. It's just what you do. And then you will be able to create some stability around your income just through doing that. It's just the way that it works. Anyway, that's it for today. Have an amazing day, and I'll be in touch again tomorrow. Bye.